My name is Cameron, and I'm here today to talk to you about hits. What makes a community radio station different from a top 40 music station? Top 40 stations do sometimes sound more slick, or have more money, or have more listeners, sometimes, but not always. They also play a pretty limited catalog of well-known music, and that's where community radio comes in. Basically, as a community radio broadcaster, we, and of course I mean all of us watching and being in this video, are mandated, yes, mandated, to support Canadian musicians of all sorts, including, but not exclusively, new and emerging Canadian talent. To help support a broad and deep range of music on Canadian airwaves, instead of just defaulting to the best known songs available, the CRTC, which you know is the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, has set a certain limit. A maximum 10% of the music played each broadcast week between 6 a.m. and midnight every day, Sunday to Saturday, can be hits. All that means is we have to not play more than 10% hits between 6 a.m. and midnight, 7 days a week, from Sunday morning to Saturday night. Just like Canadian content, hits are not based on the show, the day, the album, or even by the sales or relative popularity of a release or artist, but by the individual musical selection. So it's the hit song, not the platinum-selling album, you have to worry about. The Time Has Come Today by the Chambers Brothers is a hit, but only as a single. The album version is 12 minutes long, near enough, and on community radio, that psychedelic freakout would be totally the expected version that I would want to hear on the air. It's what we exist to do, to bring versions and songs that you're not hearing all the time. New Year's Day by U2 is a hit, but did you know that the album version and the 12-inch version are different from the single, which is the hit you hear on Top 40 radio all the time? You probably know that Strange Animal was a pretty big Canadian hit, along with a few other songs from that album. The thing is, all the other songs, 3/4 of that album, weren't hits. And they're totally okay to play. So if you're looking for Canadian content, or for a theme for your show even, let's just play some Gowan hits that aren't hits, because they weren't the chart singles, you know? That does raise a question, I think, which we'll take right now. What exactly is a hit? So, according to the CRTC, a hit is any individual song that has reached any of the top 40 positions on one or more of the following current charts: the Billboard Top 100, Billboard Canadian Hot 100, and the Billboard Hot Country. Now, finding out if a song was on these Billboard charts is actually pretty easy. You can go to billboard.com, if you search by artist, then click on their name, select chart history, and then select the relevant charts, the ones I just mentioned. You can find which songs made the top 40. Several defunct charts, notably the RPM singles, retail singles, and country singles, are also used to determine top 40. And you can actually find some of these charts here. We'll put the web link right around here for you as I talk. That's on Library Archives Canada. Their site is searchable, but it is a bit clumsy. You'd think of, Archive would be better at locating things, but usually you can locate within, say, the RPM singles, which songs were top 40 hits, up until that magazine went defunct and it stopped counting towards hits. Now, another pro tip for you, your local library might actually be a really good resource. I'm sure it has a lot of up-to-date books, or relatively up-to-date books on hit music, or there might even be another volunteer at your station that can help you. There's also a website, musiccanada.wordpress.com, that has a bunch of information on charts and hits, especially from the 80s and 90s, and especially for major Canadian artists. If you want to find out which Blue Rodeo songs are a hit, you'd go there. It's a valuable resource, in fact, for any music show. And finally, and I know I'd hesitate to say this for some people that might take umbrage with this suggestion, but Wikipedia may actually be a decent source for a lot of hit songs. It's pretty decent at locating what was a top 40 single in Canada and the United States. And there's finally one important rule of thumb I think you should remember. If you heard it on a top 40 radio station before, whether it's easy listening or adult contemporary or a rock station, it's probably a hit song. And you should avoid playing it as often as you can. Why duplicate the effort of another station when you can play something not as many people know of, where you're educating and enlightening your listeners, instead of catering to the what's already out there. More importantly, people tune into community radio to not hear top 40 hits. It's a good reason for you to do something a little different. New CanCon, that's Canadian content for you not in the know, doesn't count as a hit for the year after it was released. So your Drake airplay probably would be safe right off the bat after he drops his next platinum selling single. Covers and remixes of hit songs or live versions of a famous song don't count as a hit unless they too charted in the top 40. Which actually, this is kind of cool. You can actually get away with playing Bob Dylan's version of All Along the Watchtower instead of Jimi Hendrix's, because despite its fame, Bob Dylan's version never charted at all. But Hendrix's actually hit the top 20. I think it was one of his highest charting songs. Now, thank you for this brief hit recap. It actually came to a close way faster than I thought I would. I hope you thought it was a hit as well. Ha ha ha.